Hello, I'm Joel Baird, the General Manager of Missoula Community Access Television, inviting you to another edition of What's Up Missoula. We're going to have for you a series of candidate appearances for the Missoula City Council. With me in the studio tonight is Cynthia Wolken. She is a candidate for Ward 2 under unusual circumstances, though, aren't you?
Yes, actually I was appointed in January to replace an outgoing councilman for Ward 2, Roy Hausman. He had to leave to take a job out of state, and so I was appointed, and I am up in January to finish the term, which is 2 years. Typically a city council term is 4 years, but if I were to win, it would be a 2-year term. And so there are two of us up in Ward 2, myself and Pam Walzer. Usually there would just be one person from each ward.
They like to stagger it for a sense of continuity and so on. Now, but it seems like you're running unopposed. Can you explain that to folks?
Sure. So basically you have a certain date to file if you want to run for office to make sure that the county elections office has enough time to print the ballots and make sure that they have enough time to get all the candidates. And nobody filed to run against me, and so I will be the only name appearing on the ballot. But I want folks to know that it's still really important for me to get to know them, and so I've been knocking on doors, and I still plan on running a campaign because I think it's important, even though I don't have an opponent, that people know who it is that's representing them, and I get a chance to meet as many people as possible.
Oh, that's wonderful. So I'm really grateful that you're coming on this show.
Thank you.
Because you don't have to.
Thank you.
And I'll explain to people watching at home that what I contrive to do, I don't know how ambitious this may be, is to interview all of the candidates. And I don't know if I'll get a response from everyone, but I promised an even-handed treatment of them all. And so the questions are going to be all the same, and the candidates have heard them before. So I'm going to go through that because I know we're watching the time. So Cynthia, here's your first question. What do you think is the most important issue facing the city in the next 2 years?
Well, it's always hard to anticipate, unexpected things happening, but I would say the two biggest things that we have going on are, the city's involvement in the mountain water sale. I think gaining access and ownership of that utility is going to be fundamental, and I hope that is something that does happen in the next couple of years. And it's a process that's before the Public Service Commission right now, and it's pretty complex, but I'm confident that hopefully at some point in the near future we'll be able to own our utility like most every other Montana city. I think that we just need to continue with implementing the downtown master plan and making sure things run smoothly. That's a large part of our job, is just making sure all of the programs and best practices that we've come up with, we actually follow through with to make sure that we keep downtown vibrant. And obviously the stadium purchase is going to be coming to a conclusion in the coming weeks, and that was sort of a big step for the city. And so I think moving forward we just have to keep on making sure that we're creating jobs and making Missoula a great place for people to live and raise their families.
Great. Okay, now this one is going to be a free-form question, because the standard question is, how do you differ from other candidates in this race? It doesn't apply, so that you can respond to anything you want.
Well, I'm asking people not to write in their cat or dog, so actually to vote.
Oh, okay. So you don't want to be that different than a dog.
No, it's sort of funny. I mean, I do take it very seriously, even though I am the only candidate on there, and I would say that I represent some continuity with Roy. I identify with a lot of the progressive values that he held, so I feel like when the council appointed me, it was in keeping with sort of what the people elected when they elected Roy. So I'm just going to hope to continue that.
And you were chosen from a field of candidates.
Yes.
There were, I don't know how many, 7 or 8?
I think there were 17.
Oh, 17.
I think so. Maybe one dropped out, or I think there were maybe 16 or 17. And yes, it was a pretty rigorous process. And yeah, they did not take that lightly. And I mean, it was an honor to participate, and there were several other candidates that were wonderful and would have been great. So, I don't take that appointment lightly, and I know I have big shoes to fill.
I know you've kind of answered this. If elected, what would your primary goal be for the next year?
Well, there are a number of things that are sort of on my plate that I'm mulling around. Well, I made a referral to the ballot that City Council passed. So this November, you'll be seeing on your, when you get your ballot in the mail, other than, the candidates that you'll be voting on, there is a referendum, and it's actually a resolution that says whether you would like to urge our federal and state local representatives to amend the United States Constitution to clearly state that corporations aren't people. And that stems out of a recent Supreme Court decision that basically declared that states couldn't prohibit corporations in their state from spending unlimited amounts of money on campaigns and getting their candidates elected, and then that they can do so anonymously. So this really sort of is part of my passion for good government and making sure that everyone has a vote and that their votes count. I think we see a lot of people that are disheartened in our democracy because of all the corporate money that's spent, and this is just a tiny way for the people of Missoula to be able to have their say and say, we don't want this, and we don't feel like this is going to help us be able to protect our air and water and the rights of the middle class and all of our workers. And I would hope that people would come and support that. So good government is a passion of mine. I previously worked for the Montana Women Pipeline Project to help elect progressive women to the state legislature. So I think the more the merrier, and hopefully we can get that passed.
What should people know about you, your experience, background, your vision for the city?
Well, I have always been involved in public policy, whether it's on the local level. I've been involved on the state level. I have a law degree, and I've practiced before. I'm currently not practicing, but I'm engaged in some policy issues. I lobbied during the legislative session on some healthcare issues and some environmental justice issues. And so I have sort of a broad depth of knowledge. And so I hope to sort of be able to bring that experience to the city council, because I think, we don't work in isolation, and it's important for us to know how our local government, interacts with state and federal policies and laws, and that I bring a diverse background, and that I think just encouraging, people that maybe wouldn't otherwise get involved in local government or government in general, like women. We really need to see more of that. Low-income people, we need to see more participation and really help and ask ourselves, what can we do to facilitate that? I just came from a candidate forum at the university, and how do we make sure that students' voices are heard and make sure that we're reaching out to them? So really, that's sort of my passion, and that's my background, and that's how I come at it.
Great. Is there anything you want to add?
No, I guess I am just excited to have the opportunity to serve for the next 2 years, and look forward to it. And Pam's been great to serve with, so I'm hoping she'll be back in Ward 2 as well. And really, I'd like people to just know that we're doing our best, and I think the administration and Mayor Engen and the City Council are doing a pretty good job of keeping our city, running. And you might watch and not agree with everything we do, but I would hope that you would know that we're trying to do our best to maintain our quality of life here and make sure that we keep Missoula a great place to live.
Oh, Cynthia, thank you so much
for
being on the show. And I want to thank everyone out there for watching this segment. We're trying to bring to you informational segments on folks that are running for City Council this November. You're going to get a mail-in ballot. And I'd like to point out that Cynthia has a website. It's Rick has he's got it on the screen. It's CynthiaWolken.com if you want to learn more about her campaign. Well, thanks so much for watching our political edition of What's Up Missoula.